If you've ever looked at wealthy people and wondered how their money seems to grow faster and faster over time, the answer is simpler than most people think. It's not always because they work harder. It's not always because they earn dramatically more. A lot of the time, it's because they've already crossed the first major financial milestone, their first $100,000 in net worth. And once that happens, everything starts to get easier. That's because money behaves differently when you finally have enough of it working for you. In the beginning, building wealth feels painfully slow. You save what you can, you cut unnecessary spending, you try to increase your income, and after months of effort, it still feels like you've barely moved. But then something changes. Once you hit that first 100,000, your money begins contributing in a noticeable way, and that's when net worth can start to explode. So in this video, I want to break down why that happens, why the first 100,000 is so difficult, and most importantly, how to get there as fast as possible. Let's start with the hardest truth. Your first 100,000 is not built by investing alone. It's built mostly by behavior. In the beginning, your portfolio is too small for compounding to make a huge difference. If you invest $10,000 and get a 10% return, that's $1,000. Helpful? Yes. Life-changing? Not even close. That means early wealth building depends less on market performance and more on your ability to create margin between what you earn and what you spend. This is why the first stage is all about aggressive saving, increasing income, and staying consistent. It's not exciting. Nobody brags about meal prepping, driving an older car, negotiating bills, or working extra hours, but those are exactly the things that create the financial foundation most people skip. The first reason net worth explodes after 100,000 is because compounding finally becomes visible. At that point, even average market returns can produce meaningful dollar gains. A 7% return on 100,000 is $7,000. On 200,000, it's 14,000. On 500,000, it's 35,000. Now your money is doing real work, sometimes more work than you are. The second reason is psychological momentum. When you first start saving, it feels like deprivation, but after hitting a big milestone, saving starts to feel rewarding. You see proof that your sacrifices are working. That motivation helps you stay disciplined, and discipline creates more results. It becomes a positive cycle. The third reason is opportunity. People with a stronger net worth have more options. They can invest sooner, hold longer, take advantage of downturns, avoid expensive debt, and make smarter financial choices without feeling pressured. Wealth gives you breathing room, and breathing room improves decision making. So how do you actually get there faster? Step 1 is brutally simple. Increase your savings rate. If you're only saving 5% of your income, progress will be painfully slow no matter how good your investments are. But if you save 20, 30, or even 40%, you accelerate the process dramatically. Most people focus too much on finding the perfect stock and not enough on creating the cash flow needed to invest consistently. Step 2, stop trying to look rich before you become rich. This is one of the biggest traps holding people back. Expensive car payments, luxury apartments, constant upgrades, designer purchases, and lifestyle inflation create the illusion of success while quietly destroying your ability to build actual wealth. Net worth is not what people think you have. It's what you keep. If your income goes up and your spending goes up with it, you stay in the same place. The key is to capture raises, bonuses, and side income before your lifestyle absorbs them. Step 3, invest automatically and keep it boring. A lot of people delay investing because they think they need perfect timing. They want to wait for a dip, or they're scared of a crash, or they're convinced they'll start next month. But wealth is usually built by people who remove emotion from the process. They invest on schedule every month, every paycheck, regardless of headlines. Consistency beats intensity. Step 4, increase your income on purpose. There is only so much you can cut. At some point, the real breakthrough comes from earning more. That could mean asking for a raise, switching jobs, freelancing, building a side business, learning a higher income skill, or creating additional income streams. Saving money matters, but earning more gives you more fuel. If you can combine a high savings rate with rising income, the path to 100,000 gets much shorter. Step 5, avoid high interest debt like it's an emergency. Why? Because it is. Credit card debt, personal loans, and consumer debt are some of the biggest obstacles to building your first 100,000. If your investments are earning 8%, but your debt is costing 25%, you're moving backward. Before wealth can snowball, financial leaks have to be fixed. And finally, step 6, measure progress with net worth, not income. Income can make you feel successful while your balance sheet tells a completely different story. A person earning $70,000 a year with no debt and regular investments may be in a far stronger position than someone making $150,000 but spending all of it. Track what you own, subtract what you owe, and focus on growing that number month after month. Now, here's the encouraging part. The first 100,000 might take years. The second often takes less time. The third can come even faster. Not because the game changed, but because compounding, habits, and momentum finally start working together. That's why so many people feel like wealth showed up all at once. It didn't. They just stuck with it long enough to reach the point where progress became visible. So if you're still in the early phase and it feels slow, that doesn't mean you're failing. It probably means you're right where almost everyone starts. The boring phase is the price of entry, the sacrifice phase is the launch pad, and the discipline phase is what creates the freedom later. Your first 100,000 is not just a number. It's the point where money starts becoming a tool instead of a struggle. It's where your net worth begins working with you instead of depending entirely on you. So if you want your net worth to explode, don't obsess over getting rich quickly. Focus on getting to 100,000 efficiently. Spend less than you earn. Increase your income, invest consistently, stay patient, and let time do what time does best. Because once you reach that milestone, the climb up gets a whole lot faster. One of the most common personal finance questions out there is this: if you have extra money every month, should you use it to pay off your mortgage early, or should you invest that money instead? And honestly, this question creates a lot of debate because both options sound smart. Paying off your mortgage gives you peace of mind, lowers your monthly obligations, and guarantees a return equal to your interest rate. On the other hand, investing gives your money the opportunity to grow faster over time, especially if the market outperforms your mortgage rate. So which one is actually better? The answer is, it depends on the numbers, your risk tolerance, and your goals. Let's start with the logic behind paying off your mortgage early. When you make extra payments toward your principal, you reduce the amount of interest you pay over the life of the loan. That's a guaranteed benefit. There's no market volatility, no uncertainty, and no waiting around to see if your strategy works. Every extra dollar you put into the mortgage saves you money. If your mortgage rate is high, that becomes even more attractive. For example, if your loan is charging 7% interest, then paying it down early is like getting a guaranteed 7% return dry before taxes without risk. That's not a bad deal. There's also the emotional side. A paid-off house creates security, it reduces stress, it gives you lower monthly expenses and more flexibility if your income changes. For many people, that peace of mind is worth more than squeezing out the highest possible return. But now let's look at the other side: investing. Historically, long-term stock market returns have often been higher than low mortgage rates. So if your mortgage is 3% and your diversified investments might return 7, 8, or even 10% over a long period, then mathematically investing could leave you better off. This is especially true when you consider opportunity cost. Every extra dollar sent to the mortgage is a dollar that can't be invested elsewhere. Once that money goes into your house, it becomes less liquid. Yes, it builds equity, but you can't easily access it without selling, refinancing, or borrowing against it. Investments, on the other hand, are generally easier to access and more flexible. So here's the first key question you should ask. What is your mortgage interest rate? If your mortgage rate is very low, investing usually makes more financial sense over the long term. If your mortgage rate is high, paying it down becomes much more compelling. The second question is, are you already investing enough for retirement? If you're not contributing to retirement accounts, especially if your employer offers a match, then paying off your mortgage early may not be the best first move. That employer match is essentially free money. Passing that up to pay down cheap debt usually doesn't make sense. The third question is, do you have high interest debt anywhere else? If you still have credit card debt, personal loans, or other expensive balances, those should almost always come first. There's no reason to aggressively pay off a 4% mortgage while carrying 20% credit card debt on the side. That's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. The fourth question is, do you have an emergency fund? Before making aggressive prepayments on your home, you want cash reserves. Because once money goes into your mortgage, it's not easy to get back quickly. A strong emergency fund protects you from needing to rely on debt again. Now let's talk strategy, because this doesn't have to be an all or nothing decision. A lot of people think the choice is either put every spare dollar into the mortgage or invest every spare dollar. But in reality, the smartest approach is often a balance between both. For example, you might invest the majority of your extra cash while also making small additional mortgage payments. That way, you benefit from long-term market growth while still reducing your loan faster and improving your financial security. Another option is to invest heavily during your peak earning years, then use a portion of your investments later to pay off the mortgage in one shot if that still matters to you. This allows your money to compound first before you eliminate the debt. Now, let's address something people often ignore. Behavior matters more than spreadsheets. Yes, investing may win mathematically in many cases, but if you are the type of person who loses sleep over debt, then paying down your mortgage may be the better choice for you. Personal finance is personal. The best plan is the one you can stick to confidently and consistently. At the same time, don't confuse emotional comfort with optimal strategy unless you understand the trade-off. If your mortgage is locked at a very low rate and you divert too much money away from long-term investing, you could be sacrificing substantial future growth. So here's a practical framework. First, get your employer match if available. Second, pay off all high-interest debt. Third, build a healthy emergency fund. Fourth, compare your mortgage interest rate to realistic long-term investment returns. Fifth, decide whether your priority is maximum wealth, maximum peace of mind, or a combination of both. If your mortgage rate is low and you can tolerate market fluctuations, investing will often be the better long-term wealth-building move. If your mortgage rate is high, your cash flow is tight, or being debt-free is extremely important to you, then paying off the mortgage early can absolutely be the right move. And if you want the best of both worlds, split the difference. At the end of the day, the goal is not just to win on paper. The goal is to build a financial life that is strong, flexible, and sustainable. A paid-off house is powerful. A well-funded investment portfolio is powerful too. But the strongest position is understanding why you're choosing one strategy over the other instead of following generic advice from the internet. Because when your financial decisions align with both the math and your mindset, that's when you make real progress. So should you pay off your mortgage early or invest? If the interest rate is low and your long-term horizon is strong, investing often wins. If the rate is high or peace of mind matters more, paying off the mortgage can be the better decision. And if you're thoughtful about it, you can build a plan that does both. If you want to build wealth, there is one milestone that matters more than almost any other. Your first $100,000, not because it makes you rich, not because it changes your life overnight, but because it proves you can do something most people never manage to do, spend less than you earn, invest consistently, and build real financial momentum. The truth is, the first 100,000 is usually the slowest, hardest, and most frustrating part of the entire journey. But once you get there, everything starts getting easier. So if you want to reach that number faster than most people, this is exactly what you need to focus on. First, understand this clearly. Your first 100,000 is built more by discipline than by returns. A lot of beginners waste time looking for the perfect investment when the real problem is they don't have enough capital to invest in the first place. If you're investing tiny amounts while spending every raise, every bonus, and every extra dollar, then your progress is going to stay slow. That's why the first rule is simple. Create an unusually high savings rate. This is the part most people avoid because it requires short-term sacrifice. But if you can save 20 to 40% of your income for a few years, your timeline changes dramatically. That means cutting unnecessary fixed expenses, resisting lifestyle inflation, and being intentional with every major purchase. Big wins matter more than small wins. Yes, saving money on coffee helps, but saving money on housing, transportation, insurance, and consumer debt helps a lot more. Second, increase your income as fast as possible. You can only cut so much. At some point, the most powerful wealth-building move is to earn more. That could mean negotiating your salary, switching companies, learning a higher-paying skill, freelancing, starting a side hustle, or monetizing something you already know how to do. A lot of people stay stuck because they treat income like something that just happens to them. Wealthy people usually treat income like a project they can improve. If you make more and keep your lifestyle controlled, the gap between income and expenses widens, and that gap is where wealth is created. Third, automate your investments. If you wait until the end of the month to see what's left, there usually won't be much left. But if you invest first, automatically, then building wealth becomes the default. Remove the need for willpower. Set up automatic transfers. Make the process boring and consistent. This is one of the biggest differences between people who want to invest and people who actually build money. Fourth, avoid toxic debt at all costs. Credit card debt can destroy progress faster than almost anything else. It doesn't just cost interest, it steals your future income. Every dollar going toward high-interest debt is a dollar that cannot be invested. If you want your first 100,000 to happen quickly, eliminate financial drag. That also means being careful with car loans, buy now, pay later habits, and anything that makes your monthly obligations heavier without increasing your earning power. Fifth, stop buying status. This is probably one of the most underrated wealth-building lessons out there. A lot of people delay their financial freedom because they spend money trying to look successful before they actually are. Expensive watches, brand names, luxury cars, premium everything, all of it feels rewarding in the moment, but most of it slows down the exact progress they say they want. Real wealth is usually quiet in the beginning. It doesn't always look impressive. It often looks like discipline, restraint, and patience. Sixth, track your net worth monthly. What gets measured gets improved. If you don't know your numbers, it's too easy to drift. Track your savings, investments, debt, and total net worth every month. This keeps you focused and gives you proof that your efforts are working, even when progress feels slow. Sometimes the journey feels invisible day to day, but obvious when you look back over 12 months. Seventh, invest simply. The more complicated people make investing, the more likely they are to hesitate, overtrade, or make emotional mistakes. You do not need a genius strategy to build your first 100,000. You need a strategy you'll stick with. Low-cost, diversified investing, done consistently over time, beats most people's attempts to outsmart the market. The biggest edge is not information, it's behavior. Eighth, protect your environment. If everyone around you is overspending, normalizing debt, and upgrading their lifestyle every time they earn more, it becomes harder to stay disciplined. But if you start following people, content, and communities that value investing, intentional living, and financial independence, your standards begin to shift. Your financial results are heavily influenced by what feels normal to you. Ninth, use short-term goals to serve long-term goals. Instead of only thinking about 100,000, break it down. First save 5,000, then 10, then 25, then 50. Every milestone builds confidence. Every milestone makes the next one easier. Progress becomes addictive when you can see it. And finally, be patient enough to let the process work. This is the hardest part because modern culture rewards speed, hype, and instant results. But building real wealth is often repetitive. You save, you invest, you wait, you keep going. That sounds boring, but boring works. The people who reach 100,000 fastest are not always the smartest. They're often just the most consistent. They keep going when progress is slow. They stay focused when other people get distracted. They delay gratification long enough to give compounding a chance. And once they hit that milestone, something amazing happens. Their investments start producing noticeable gains. Their habits are already built. Their confidence increases. Their options expand. And what once felt impossible starts to feel inevitable. So if you want to build your first 100,000 faster than 90% of people, don't waste time chasing shortcuts. Focus on the fundamentals that actually move the needle. Earn more, save aggressively, invest automatically, avoid bad debt, ignore status pressure, track your net worth. Keep the strategy simple, stay patient, because the first 100,000 isn't just money. It's proof of discipline, it's proof of direction, and it's the milestone that turns wealth building from a struggle into a system. Once you get there, the game changes.